I know you telling from your own experience how there was a lack of services, particularly for women who are in the service and are returning vets and are looking for services. Can you tell me about the Service Women's Action Network and how you and other women have thought of that as a response?
I'm from California, and so the VA that I go to is in Fresno, and our women's clinic for a long time was in the basement. And recently they've moved up and got a new floor, but it's been maybe in response to the fact that the military is comprised of 15% of females now, and 155,000 females have served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
155,000?
Yes, ma'am, 155,000. Now, what I understand about the VA is that the VA says you have to define a need in order to get funding. And in order to define the need, they have to do this 2-year kind of tracking mechanism. And if you can, in 2 years, show that there's a need, for example, we need to expand women's services, they have to track this and define and say, yes, women are showing up, and we don't have this, and we don't have this. And so they do that for 2 years, and then they get funding. Well, if you have no services for women to go to, how are they going to show up? So how are we going to define this need when women don't show up because there's nothing there? And the other part of it is that sexual assault is a very big reality for many women as a trauma that they've had, military service trauma. And when I first came back, I specifically wanted a female therapist. They didn't have one. They gave me a nurse who was not trained to deal with me, and I was really, really resentful of that. They gave me a female doctor who was not sensitive to what I was talking about. She was used to working with Vietnam vets, males. And even though she was a woman, we had to have a conversation around the questions she was asking me and why. And I really had to struggle to demand women therapists, to demand women doctors. And what I was finding was that I started to talk to other veteran women. And these other veteran women were not even going to the VA. And they were saying, I can't go there. I walk in the door and there's all these men and they're 20 years old and they're looking at me like, and they would say they're looking at me not like I'm a soldier, but like I came as somebody's daughter or somebody's girlfriend, and you know, in a pretty disrespectful way in their view, because they don't look old enough to be soldiers. And yet here they're coming back and they're traumatized and things have happened, and there isn't a space for, you know, for these women who have to come through, and they got to sit in this group where there's all these men, and that's kind of the problem that they're facing at that moment, and so they don't come. And when they do, one of the other things that happen for women is that when they put in their claim, if this assault happened a year ago or 2 years ago, and they didn't tell anybody, and they put their claim in and their claim is denied, well, what that does to the soldier when the claim is denied is it tells the soldier this never happened, because the VA will not acknowledge it. And when you tell somebody who's been victimized like that, this never happened, you're re-traumatizing that soldier. And so because of that, and because of the lack of support that was out there, myself and a group of service women and allies, women who understood what we were going through, we got together through the Women of Color Resource Center, sponsored a workshop, a retreat for us, and Service Women Action Network was created in response to being able to connect with women who are still serving, women who are considering the military, and women who are veterans and needing support to walk through this system. Not only that, we're also working on creating retreats that are more holistic and more culturally appropriate to the soldier, and inviting, you know, modalities that fit within their culture, because that's another big piece that is lacking in a lot of these services. They heal the body, they heal, with Western medicine, psychotherapy with Western medicine, but we're not talking about spirit, which is very strong in many cultures, and we're not talking about ceremonies, which is strong in many cultures, and which could really help promote healing when it's done in something that you know and understand and come from that place. So SWANs, you can find us under servicewomen.org, and we're a new organization, and we're looking for funding, and we're looking for support, and we're looking for allies. And so if there's anyone interested in supporting this organization, they can contact us through servicewomen.org.